Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another glorious episode of the Tents and Tabernacles podcast, where we meet God through the person of Jesus Christ. And we
Yeah.
got a bonus banger for you.
Bonus.
Yeah, because we love y'all. And we got to talk about this because a certain holiday, if you can even call it a holiday, is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on when this is up, it might be the day of.
Yeah.
However, we talking about Halloween today.
Mm. Insert spooky music.
Wha- ah, 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 ah.
Yes.
One,
Yes.
two, three.
We are talking about Halloween and what we think about it, and should Christians celebrate it? Should they not? Our opinions, other people's opinions, so far and so forth.
Yes.
So, who wants to give, I guess, their stance first?
I can go first because you have a lot more like evidence and
Do I?
scholarly things.
You got to
Which
bring
I
people
have
to
no problem
facts.
with. Which I have no problem with it because I'm normally that person and like I don't feel the like need to be that person in this relationship and I it's a very freeing relationship that we have. Um
Yay.
but the other day I was on TikTok. I was in the time warp of TikTok
Mm.
and this video crossed my For You page and it was basically about a former Satanist who is now like a minister of the gospel. So he's now, been delivered and whatnot. But he's talking about how he's like really surprised that Christians are okay with Halloween. Like he's
Mm-hmm.
talking about how like if we really knew what Halloween meant, we probably wouldn't celebrate it. And I was like, okay, here it goes. Cause I didn't know that he was a former Satanist. So when I originally watched it, I was like towards the beginning, I was just watching it to see if I was gonna get like irritated by it. I was like hate
Mm.
watching it to begin with. And then when he said that he was a like that's what he was before, and I was like, oh wait, so he's really like this is fact. Like he's not just like this isn't just conjecture. Um but yeah. Um Basically, I don't know if you want to go into like the contents of the video.
We can. I mean, I've heard him before. Did you say what his name is? Did you say his name?
I have to look
Oh,
at
the
it.
pastor she's referring to, his name is I don't know if he's referred to even as a pastor or not, but he's like a speaker. He'll come, he goes to people's churches and stuff. I don't think he has his own church, but his name is John Ramirez, and he used to be a warlock. And he
Yeah.
was dedicated to like he calls it a demon church when he was like
Mhm.
8 years old.
Yeah, and he like
Um
baptized his daughter when she was like 13 to
mhm.
whatever demon god they were baptizing to
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Like
he
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 was
got
thick in
married
there.
on Halloween, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah. So, yeah, I've heard his story a few times. In the video that you sent me, he was just talking about how on Halloween, like for people who are Satanists, like
Mhm.
that's like their Easter. Like they
Yeah.
do a bunch of stuff. They curse the witches that are, in the coven or whatever the church they're in. They curse the candy that they hand out.
Yeah.
Um and it's just like a very like demonic thing. Like they get ready for it, they prepare for it. And they try to kind of like he said something about taking over territory. I don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah, so he was saying that like he was trained to take over territories and like in the spirit realm, which
Hmm.
I don't know if you what book is that? Um I can't think of the book right now, but I read it and it was about like the spiritual world and
Hmm.
was it written by like Billy Graham? I don't remember or Wigglesworth, one of them.
I
Um
don't know.
but I can't think of the name of the book right now, but
But the last name
yeah,
Wigglesworth is funny.
yeah. But yeah, like in the book, the author was kind of explaining like just like just like you would have like a kingdom that has the rule over certain places or whatever, like
Mhm.
certain demons or demonic spirits are over like certain territories, types of people. Like they have ranks just like any other kingdom.
Mhm.
And like they have jobs and they have, territories or like places of power that they are over.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
He was
So
talking
if
about
you
astral projecting and everything.
Yeah, so if you've heard that on TikTok, because I've heard that quite a bit, and I actually watched like this is a tangent, but I didn't realize that astral projection was actually a thing. I remember seeing it
Mhm.
on TikTok as like these middle school kids will like astral project into um like these worlds or whatever, like these different like worlds in their imagination, I guess. I don't really
Mhm.
know, but like they would go and live these other lives and then like come back to this life,
Yeah.
almost like extended dreaming, or
Mhm.
like daydreaming on steroids,
Yeah, I
but
feel
it's
like
like
that's where it starts in your dreams. Have you ever seen it was a TV show. Oh, what was it called? It was on I wanna say it was on Netflix. It was a real popular show. It's based on a book. Ooh, I'm gonna be mad if I can't remember. Imma try to remember. But the premise in the show, they talk about astral projecting and the main character who ends up being like somebody totally different. It's so crazy. They teach this girl how to astral project because she's having these like night terrors in her dreams. Every night she can't control them. So the girl's like, "Oh, I'm gonna teach you how to control your dreams." And she taught her basically how to astral project. She would leave her body and she could go places and she could see things. It was like her spirit left her body. But
mhm.
in the end, the girl tricked somebody to leave their body while she was leaving her body, and then she switched bodies and killed the other person. It was crazy. It's based
What?
on a book. What was it called? It's called like oh, it's called Through Her Eyes, I think.
That's what that's about?
Girl, it's
Okay, so like I've
girl.
seen the previews of that
Yeah,
and
you
it
would never
didn't really
guess.
make sense. And so I was
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna watch
I
this.
can't even explain it to you because it's like the twist in that show give you a headache. Like at the end, you're just
I'm
sitting there
good.
like, I cannot believe, like I'm in disbelief. Like no, that's that no. And it ends in such a horrible way. It's really scary actually.
Yeah, no, I'm good on
But
that.
when you find out that people can really do this, people well, how they base it in the show, like she was in people's house while they were asleep in her spirit, like just floating around people. She knew what people were doing. Like her husband was cheating on her with the girl she ended up killing. And she was astral projecting and like she knew everything that was going on. So I'm like, if that's real, that's too much. I don't need people's in my house. That's why you got to cover your house with the blood of Jesus. Okay.
Yes, that part.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
The
about to
spiritual realm
Google
is
that
real.
definition. Yeah.
And it's crazy because like up until the other day when I saw the video, I've just kind of been like, oh well, like if I don't do anything that's like obviously demonic on Halloween, then like
Mhm.
it's not that big a deal. Like, yeah, we can dress up, eat candy, like watch Halloween movies or whatever and like carve pumpkins, right? Because that's what I had planned on doing with my husband. Like we were gonna have a whole night. We were gonna watch Hocus Pocus, um, and carve pumpkins, right?
Mhm.
And then like a couple weeks ago, I was watching Halloween Town on Disney Plus because that was like my favorite Halloween movie growing up. And my mom did not do Halloween. I will say that. So I
Mm.
definitely had to sneak to watch these movies. But it was like my favorite. And so I was watching it and like I don't know if you've seen Halloween Town or like any of the trilogy. I think there's 4 now, but
Probably not.
the last one doesn't have the original girl, so it's irrelevant. But it's basically about a family of witches that like the oldest daughter didn't know she was a witch. It's kind of like the Sabrina and the Teenage Witch type vibe where like she didn't know she was a witch and like her grandmother like came back on Halloween. Like they, so Halloween Town was a different world than like the world that, you know, we all live in. And so there's
Mm,
only one night that people from Halloween Town can cross worlds, and it was on Halloween.
mm,
And so she came from Halloween Town to like see her grandchildren. And it was like the birthday that they had to tell Marnie, the oldest daughter, that she was a witch so that she could start training and all that kind of stuff, right? Or she'd lose her powers.
mm-hmm,
So that's like the premise, and like all of the, you know, chaos that ensues about, you know, witches and warlocks and spells and curses and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it plays out the way it normally plays out. But when I was watching it as an adult, I was like, this don't feel good. And like, I don't know why it don't feel good, but like,
mm-hmm. But it
it
don't.
don't feel good. And like, the closer that I get to God, or the closer that I like, the more I read my Bible, like seeing it for what it is, it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
this shouldn't be okay. I shouldn't be watching this. I shouldn't be letting this enter my eye gates. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this shouldn't be something that I let into my heart, or even like just let play in my house. Cause, and like, part of me is like, girl, it's not that big a deal, right?
Yeah.
But that's all it takes, you know? That's all it
Mm,
takes, is to not be vigilant in that area. And then you've like left a door open for the enemy to wreak havoc in your life. And you're wondering where he got in. And it's like, you've been watching all these fearful movies, and like,
right.
you know, like you've
Yeah.
been doing all of these things. And it's the fact that like the, um, the minister, like, I think Pastor Ramirez, what is his first name?
John.
John
John Ramirez.
Ramirez was saying that like his pastor was like almost thanking Christians for not knowing what's going on, cuz like he can basically curse your kid one day a year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like, okay, clearly this
Yeah.
holiday is not for us. It was never meant for us. And I watched this other video that was like, you don't see Satanists coming to hang out with us on Good Friday.
I saw that too.
So
Yeah.
why are we hanging out with them on Halloween? Like, they don't come and hang out on Easter.
Yeah. Oh no, they sure don't. I
So it's
think
like,
most people, like you said, they see it as very innocent, and for most people, it probably is innocent. Do you want to dress their kid up?
mm,
It's candy, but what I feel like is like it's still everything about it is supposed to be scary.
yeah,
Everything is scary. It's not like we're just
it's
having a
predicated
costume
on
because
fear.
I don't
Yeah.
because he actually says something about you shouldn't dress in costumes. I don't know much about that. I don't know how biblical that is. I feel like a costume party could be fun. It
Mhm.
not including Halloween. Like if we had a
Right.
costume party for my birthday and I wanted
Right.
everybody to dress like 70s characters or like I don't know characters from I don't know whatever my favorite movie is or something. I don't
Mhm.
think that that's necessarily a bad thing, but for Halloween, everything's supposed to be scary. It's like for the most part, some people they like to dress their kids up as like normal things. Like I've dressed Omari up one time when he was one. He was Elmo. I mean,
Oh.
he was Elmo, you know.
Mhm.
But I haven't done it since. But I know some people who like they'll dress their kid up like nice things. But for the most part, the things that you dress up as on Halloween are things that are scary. Zombies, witches, ghosts,
Demons.
vampires, you know. So I'm like, what's the fun in being I don't like to be scared personally.
Me either.
I've never liked I wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween. I think the only part that I wanted to do was, I guess I kind of felt left out from my friends, but it wasn't that I just really wanted to do it because I was scared of everything.
Mhm.
When I was younger, we used to have Astroworld here, and they used to have Fright Fest. One time we accidentally
Mhm.
went on Fright Fest because there was like literally a Christian concert or something that night, but it was during Fright Fest.
Oh.
And I was literally terrified, like of everything. Like I've been to haunted houses even as more of an adult, probably as it haven't been in a long time because I hate them. I don't like to
Mhm.
be scared. Like I don't know who likes to be scared. Like what's the joy in that? Like
Yeah.
I just when I see like in my neighborhood there are people who are literally they have ghosts hanging from their trees, like blowing in the
Mhm.
wind. And I'm like, what is the point of, like, why would I want to put a ghost around my house? Why would I want to put any kind of like, I don't know. It just doesn't, it, not that I'm like outside with like
Yeah.
picket, like signs, like we need to stop this, but I'm just like, for me, as for
But it's like
me,
you wouldn't do
I'm
it
just not
any
going
other
to do it.
time of the year. Like you legit wouldn't do it any other time of the year, but you pick one day and be like, it's fine, it's Halloween. But
They
it's
like
like,
it. People have been all since October started. I've been seeing like on social media. It's spooky season. I love spooky season. Uh, they like a lot of houses in my neighborhood, they're decorated for Halloween like it's Christmas. Like they have orange lights up. They got
mm-hmm.
huge like pumpkins in the front yard. They got huge like it's like people are going all out. Like people are already getting dressed up. They're already posting pictures. But I don't know how legit this website is. But I went. Oh, I forgot I was googling astral projection. Ting. Um, I went. I googled the origin of Halloween and Answers.com. Now, I don't know how legit Answers.com is. So, listeners, if you feel like it's not reputable or trustworthy, just shoot me a message and send me a better website. So, should I read all of this? Because they do talk about the origin of Halloween for Christianity. They do talk about it, but it's not how we celebrate it now. It was more of a because it is a celebration of the dead. That is the origin
Mm-hmm.
of it. That's why you have all
Mm-hmm.
these ghosts and ghouls and
Right.
dead things. Vampires are technically dead, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're like immortal, but they're dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're pretty
They're
much dead.
perpetually dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So it is okay. I'm just gonna read it. I'm just gonna read some things. Halloween originated as the eve of Samhain. I think that might be the pronunciation. Yeah. A celebration marking the beginning of winter and the first day of the new year among ancient pagans of the British Isles. So it was a pagan holiday, apparently. I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. On this occasion, it was believed that supernatural forces gathered together, that the barriers between the supernatural and human worlds were broken. They believed that spirits from other worlds, such as the souls of the dead, were able to visit Earth during this time and roam about. At this time, they celebrated a joint festival for the sun god and the lord of the dead. The sun was thanked for the harvest and given moral support for the upcoming battle with winter. In ancient times, the pagans made sacrifices of animals and crops in order to please the gods. Now, when you were talking about that show earlier, I thought about
Yeah.
this because
Yeah. I was
the
like, what?
grandma was coming from, she was dead, clearly. The grandma's dead,
No. Mm-mm.
right?
The
I mean, she
grandma's
was in
alive.
Halloween Town,
Mm-hmm.
but she came from the other world to
Yeah.
them on this one day.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever made that show, they knew about this.
Oh, for sure. That sounds like Day of the Dead for
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Spanish cultures, Hispanic cultures.
But when do they celebrate that? Is that still around this time or is
It's
that a
the
different
end.
time?
It's the end of this month to like. It starts like
Does it
either
start on
today or
Halloween?
tomorrow. It doesn't start on Halloween. It's like
But it
the end
starts
of this
around this
month
time.
to the beginning of next month. It's like a
Okay, because I did
yeah.
read one of these that it was always the festival was like actually November 1st. And then like so
Mhm.
it was like
Yeah.
say like Christmas is like for Christmas. Like you have Christmas Eve. Halloween is like the Hallows Eve actually.
Mhm.
Let me see. They also believe that on October 31st, the Lord of the Dead gathered all the souls of the people who had died that year. The souls upon death would dwell in the body of an animal. Then on this day, the Lord would announce what form they were to take for the next year. Okay, so on this page, they have three observations. They have the origin of Halloween from Celts to the Romans. They have the origin of Halloween from pagan to Christian. And they have the origin of Halloween from sacred to secular. I'm gonna read the origin from pagan to Christian, just because this is a Christian podcast,
Yes, it
and we
is.
don't want to just be talking out of turn and not know our history.
Yeah.
If this is indeed true, we're gonna have to fact check it. But this is answers.com. Okay. Other historians trace the origin of Halloween back to the ancient and enduring Christian tradition of celebrating the lives of Christian martyrs on the anniversaries of their deaths. When Pope Boniface the fourth reconsecrated the Pantheon in Rome on May 13th, 609 AD, renaming it the Church of St. Mary and the Martyrs. He established that anniversary as a day of celebratory remembrance for all the church's martyrs. Pope Gregory III later changed the date of remembrance to November 1st when he dedicated a chapel in St. Peter's, I don't know how to say that word, to All Saints. And yeah, I'm about to say, I think I
Is
knew
that
that.
Saint
November
Peter
1st,
Aquinas?
Basilica?
Oh, yeah, Basilica.
Is that how you say that?
Hmm.
Seems like that's
I
too.
have heard that word. It's Basilica.
Okay. To All Saints. I did know this November 1st is All Saints Day. I always wondered why. Now I know.
Yes, but I guess
Uh,
that it makes
yeah.
sense. But like,
I don't know.
eh,
And this is just what they say. Otherwise known as All Hallows Day. The night before became All Hallows Eve. Halloween became a colloquial contraction of that phrase. While Halloween began as a localized celebration, Pope Gregory IV extended its observance to all of Christendom in the ninth century. Now, I don't know how true that is. So, but none of these people who are celebrating it right now are celebrating the martyrs of Christianity. I ain't never heard
mm-mm,
anybody talk about let's
not
celebrate Peter
ever.
today or Stephen for Halloween. I've never heard that.
Nope.
So
They don't. Mm-mm.
I don't think that's what they're doing. But as we can see
If
though,
anything, if anything, the Day of the Dead is closer to that than Halloween
yeah, I feel like it's the about the
because the Catholic
this is the thing. Either
Church
way, it's about dead
is
people.
involved.
It's about
Huh?
dead people either way. It's about
Yeah.
dead people
Mhm.
regardless. But that little the fact that they included basically Catholic like figures is interesting to me because some of the people I know that really celebrate Halloween that are like that I know believe in Jesus, they're Catholic.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering like is that something passed down through Catholicism or not? I don't know.
I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing. I just know
Mhm.
that like during Day of the Dead or like the festivals and stuff, the Catholic Church is involved. It's not
Right.
something separated. Like they'll have altars and stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's when they're saying Christian, I think it could be too broad of a statement. It could be
Mhm.
the connection to Catholics. Possibly. I have to do more research on
Possibly.
that.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of a link. And what their reasoning is. There was also a
Yeah.
part about what does it say? From sacred to secular. What was that about? This says something about Christian heritage too. The origin of Halloween as a secular celebration in many parts of the world goes back to Europe's rich Christian heritage. European empires conquered most of the world in the centuries following the Age of Exploration, allowing them to export their Christian faith and festivals to the rest of the world. With the Enlightenment of the 18th century, secularism took root in Europe and spread to her colonies abroad. Christian holidays like Christmas, Easter, and Halloween were secularized in parts of the world. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. We got to
Hmm.
see if answers.com is okay or not.
Yeah.
But all I have all in all though, the point is that I don't like to be scared.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't see how like God could be glorified in it at all. That's what I think.
That
Cuz even
that's yeah.
people will say like, "Oh well, um Christmas has pagan roots and things like that." But it's like,
Mhm.
but I can still bring God in it. Like there's joy. God gives joy and peace, and I can
And we're
like,
celebrating the birth of Jesus.
yeah, even though he wasn't born on that day,
He was
but
not.
I can still
He was born in like July.
there's ways for me to like bring God into it.
Yeah.
I don't know a way to bring God into Halloween because I just don't know how. I don't
And I'm
see
not
how.
I'm not even like a huge fan of like the way Christian churches now have like tried to reclaim Halloween. I hate it. I
Harvest
hate every bit
Festival.
of it. Just leave it alone.
Yeah,
It's
I feel
like
like you don't need to
just
do
leave it
anything
alone.
for it. Like you
Now,
don't like
I understand for kids, it's like you want to give them something where they don't feel excluded, but I feel like if you were to genuinely explain to your child in a way that they can understand it, they will no longer want to be a part of it either. So it's like
and you
you're,
can teach them like you don't need to be included in everything.
I mean, yes, but it's like like just from a kid's point of view, like if all of their friends are dressing up and getting candy, and then you're just stuck at the house like doing nothing, like that, like that'll suck for you, like as a kid
It
if you don't
does.
understand why.
This is the thing. This was my life growing up.
Me too.
Ain't no Halloween, ain't no getting dressed up. My mom is the one that, and I do it now too. On Halloween, I turn off the porch light and I don't answer the door. I'm not participating. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, so that was me too, but I understood why my mom didn't allow me to do Halloween.
True.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like I felt left out or like I
Like you
didn't
just didn't
feel.
understand.
Yeah, like I legit
Hmm.
understood. So when people would ask me like, "Oh, well, why don't you celebrate Halloween?" I was like, "Oh, well, I believe in Jesus and like this holiday doesn't line up with that for me."
Hmm.
And so I was
Hmm.
able to like even voice it so it wasn't like a weird thing and like, "Oh,
Yeah.
my mom doesn't let me." Like it wasn't that at all. It was like I understood and I was not about to play with the spiritual realm cuz I understood it and cuz my mom would talk to me about it all the time. So
Hmm.
that was better. That was a better experience for me than like some of my other Christian friends whose parents just told them no, we don't celebrate Halloween, but like didn't ever go as far as to like give their child a chance to understand that. It was just this is what my
Yeah.
parents said, so I can't do it. So then as an
Yeah.
adult, you're like, well, I'm gonna go and watch all the scary movies, and it's like it almost breeds the rebellion aspect of it, because you don't
Hmm.
understand. But
Yeah. And them scary movies
but
go
like
scare you as an adult too.
listen, listen. Princess and the
If you're not
Frog still
ready.
gives me nightmares. I, look, I am not afraid to say that Princess and the Frog gives me nightmares as a 26-year-old
Princess and the
woman.
Frog?
Yes, that Shadow Man.
That was kind of scary. I do think
I got friends on the other side. No, thank you.
when did I watch Princess and the Frog? I feel like I was a grown person by then, or was I not? Was I a teenager? How when did Princess and the Frog come out? What year was that?
I was
I
in
mean,
high
that's
school,
pretty
I
in
think.
high school. Maybe I wasn't. I don't know, but I do think it was scary. I always thought if I had watched that when I was a child, my mom probably wouldn't have let me watch it because
Nah.
a lot of Disney movies have magic in them, right? And so
Yeah.
my mom would pick and choose which one she would let me watch because she's
Yeah,
like,
we didn't do Disney.
yeah, like my mom is still like she's normal, but she don't play. Like
Yeah,
she
no.
watches everything before we watch it to make sure.
Mhm.
And then, like you said, she would explain, okay, this is like in Beauty and the Beast. There's magic. She would
Mhm.
explain that there's magic, but she would also explain like you don't do magic because no, even if it's good, quote unquote good magic, you're not supposed to do that because God said you don't need to be doing that, right?
Right.
But I do know, like I was able to watch like Beauty and the Beast, but not like Aladdin. She thought Aladdin was a little
Yeah.
too much
With like
because,
the
and then she thought
genie and
Jafar was probably because she thought Jafar was scary, and I think he became a
probably
big snake. Was
he
that
did.
one? So
He has a snake, like his staff or whatever. I think is
yeah,
a
so
snake.
I
Yeah.
think if Princess and the Frog had came out when I was a child, I probably would not have been able to watch that because, like you said, it was basically demons. Those were
Mhm.
demons
Oh
that were
yeah.
coming to get him. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah, like even
I
now,
still
like when
can't
I
watch
watch
it.
it, yeah, even now when I watch it, I'm like, and even like Mama Udi, her too. She's doing
Yeah,
witchcraft
like
too.
I can't like I just can't get
Yeah,
with it. I just
yeah,
can't
it's
get
a
with it.
good
And I'm
movie,
like,
but I'm
dang, it
like,
wasn't the only
dang,
black princess.
yeah,
You
like why
couldn't
the
have
black
made
person
her
gotta
from
have so much
Memphis or
voodoo?
anything. You had to make her from like the voodoo capital of the world.
I
Whatever,
know.
Disney. Whatever.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
like you give all the rest of the princesses like really nice looking magic, like fairy godmothers, and like
mm-hmm,
the villains are just that, like they are villains. But and then you
mm-hmm,
have Princess and the Frog, and like everyone does voodoo. It's no longer magic; it's voodoo.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
that's neither
yeah.
here nor there because I definitely don't like that. But when it comes to like the way churches have done it, like fall festivals where they'll
Hmm.
just like do everything super fall with the pumpkins and everything, like the hay rides and all of that, um, can be. like helpful. I have no problem with that. Like, don't make it Halloween, make it fall, right?
Yeah, but I say just do it all fall then. Like, don't do it
Because
on Halloween. Like, just give
yeah,
them something else to do. Do them the weekend before, and then the next weekend, y'all not doing nothing because y'all tired.
exactly. Or
Like,
like the trunk or treats where it's like a safe environment. You have all, your the parents of the kids in the neighborhood pull up with their trunks or whatever. But there's this other phenomenon. I don't know if any churches do them now. I do know that in the time of like the early 20 teens, like the 2013, 2014 era, 15 era of my life, I was subject to, this was not willingly, I was made to go to these things called hell houses, and they weren't haunted houses. They were churches' versions of haunted houses. And I promise you, they're more scary than haunted houses. At least you can walk out of a haunted house and say, that's not real. These hell houses, for any church that does a hell house, you need a coming to Jesus moment. I'm going to say that out here right now, because hell houses were supposed to show the hell, the hellish parts of life. And then at the end, you're supposed to see hell and then be like, then know that you need a savior. And then they have like, yes. And then they have like a like benediction at the end, and like, try to get people to get saved because they've seen all these things. One hell house that I went to, there was a legitimate rape scene. Like, I'm
what? I need
not
to
kidding.
Google this. Hell houses? Is that a
Yes,
real
I
thing?
am not kidding. Like, they had one where it was like alcoholism and like domestic violence and blah blah blah. They had one that was that, and they had another one where it was like homelessness and da 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 da. And I was like, bro, like, this
It's
stuff is
really a
real.
thing. It
Like, this
says
stuff,
hell houses are haunted attractions typically run by evangelical Protestant churches. Designed to act as moral instruction. That is on Wikipedia. Wow.
yeah.
That is
I know it wasn't a fever dream. It was real. And I still remember how hell looked at this one church. Okay. You know how, like, if it's dark, like if you're sleeping, like, not even that, but like if you're in like a dark room that has an exit sign, and like you see like the red light from the exit sign, that
because
traumatizes me, because it
it was in
reminds me
there.
of the hell in this hell house, because it was just dark
Wow.
with like red light and smoke everywhere, and these like
Why would they
demons would
put
just be trying, like, yes, these demons would be trying to get you, and like you have to be ushered through hell to like get to heaven or whatever. And like once you get into heaven, it's just all white light and like, angels or whatever. And then they're like, okay, um the life that we live here on earth could look like a lot of the scenes that you saw through here, but we know that Jesus, I was like,
oh no. I think you could do it. You know
y'all
what?
have
Now that I'm
assaulted
thinking
my
about it,
eyes.
have I ever seen something like that? Maybe once, but I think my mind is trying to block it out because I feel like I've seen, and I don't know if it was called a Hell House, and I don't know if it was on Halloween, but it was it was like a, was it a play? It was something where they were acting
Probably.
like this was hell. Did I experience that? Oh my god.
Man, like for a second, like when we got on here, I was like, was that real, or was I dreaming this? Was this a vision? Was this real? And I remember, out of all the rooms, like I remember like the one that was basically sexual promiscuity, um and a bunch of other things about being sexually assaulted and all that kind of stuff. I just remember like crouching down in a corner of that room crying, because I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I cannot do this. This is touching an aspect of my testimony that I ain't ready to, like, this is
Oh
not
my
something I want
god.
to, like, I'm having a full on panic attack in a corner, and y'all trying to usher me to heaven. I'm already saved. Why am I here? Bro, I am already saved. I don't want to do this.
Girl. Oh my gosh. That's scary though. Like
Mm-hmm.
that could actually give people more nightmares. Can that be considered demonic even though it's being done by the church?
Listen, it is the goodness of God that brings man to repentance. You scaring people out of hell is not going to keep them out of hell. It's a heart posture, people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
that just
don't like when people
that
do that.
bothers me.
I don't like when people try to scare people like into being saved. Like that is not how it works.
Like I
Like,
don't remember Jesus ever walking up to a person and be like, "You're going to hell. Now
yeah.
follow
I
me."
mean, he told people how it was, but he didn't that's not how he like brought them in. And
Nah,
then it wasn't just like that wasn't the only message. That
exactly.
wasn't that wasn't the general message. Like he wasn't just like standing on the corner with a sign like, if you don't listen to me, you going to hell. That's my message. Like,
Right.
no.
Like there was always hope in his message. Like if you
Yeah.
didn't make it, because you could get out. Like they you could, if you cried enough, they let you out before you get to the heaven part. Because I remember another one that I went to, I couldn't finish it. I had to go.
They
Um
made they basically were waiting for you to cry.
Basically,
What?
yeah. They wanted to traumatize you
S-
into getting saved.
Into
I'm
being
like,
good.
into being good,
And
basically,
see,
yeah.
that's the type of stuff though that traumatizes people. And when they leave church or they have church hurt or whatever,
Hmm.
they think about those times at church that they were locked in hell and had to cry to get out. And now they're like, God is a joke because there's no way that that was good for me. But that wasn't church, bro. That was like,
Yeah. And
I don't know
people
what that
paid
was.
to get into this. This wasn't just like some free thing. Like you paid for it like it was a haunted house.
Oh no. I
Luckily for
mean,
us, because okay, not luckily,
somebody
because
had this is the thing, somebody had the idea.
somebody
Somebody
and it
was like, "Oh, they
spread
want to
to
go to a
all of
haunted
them.
house, huh? We go make it hell." Because that's the worst haunted house of all.
It
Nobody wants to go to
is.
hell.
It's like I
Not
can't
even
walk out
atheists
of
want to
here
go to
and say
hell.
this isn't real. I cannot walk out of here and say this isn't real. I can go into a haunted house. I can go on a fright fest and be like, ha ha ha, a skeleton tried to eat me. Like that's not real. I can separate myself from that. You can't separate yourself from hell.
No.
So yeah, no. Mm-mm. Effectively, yeah, I guess it worked, but like the trauma after.
Want to say too about this is going back to Mr. John Ramirez.
Hmm.
So some people, the Halloween is like very innocent, right? They're just like you
Hmm.
said, we just want to dress up and watch some movies and just be a little scared, I guess. I think some people like to be scared. I think they
Adrenaline, I guess.
yeah, like people who like roller coasters and stuff. I'm
Hmm.
I'm barely a person that likes roller coasters. Um, but I want to know more about like what the witches actually do on Halloween. Cuz if it's like their holiday, what do they actually do? Do they have rituals that they do? Like I have a family member. I'm not going to say the family member because they may listen to this one day. Um, it's not one close in age to me, but they used to be a practicing witch.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, I think that's why my mom like really don't play like about certain things because it's just like it's real. Like it's not like a
Hmm.
witch is like a fictitious character that's only in a storybook. Like people are actually witches and they actually have spell books and they actually do spells and they actually keep cauldrons in their house. Like
Yeah.
it's like a real thing. That's not like I used to think that that was all just like I don't know. Like I used to watch what's that? Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Hmm.
I used to watch that. I don't think I thought in my mind that people really did that in real life. I thought it
Me
was just
either.
like watching Lord of the Rings or something and you see a hobbit. I don't really think that
Right.
there's hobbits in the world.
Right.
I don't think so. But when you grow up and you realize no, people are really witches and sorcerers,
Hmm.
it's like, oh.
Yeah, there was a client that I was assigned to at a an agency that I used to work for. And I had to ask to be taken off of this account because they were practicing witches.
Mm,
Um and they had like a new age store or whatever, and I would be the one that does their products. Um like that promotes their products. And at first, everyone's doing the whole crystal thing and like
Mm.
all of that. And so I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just, oh, okay, crystals, they look pretty, whatever. I'm thinking like salt lamps, and they're thinking like runes and divination books, like
Yeah.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like in my brain, I'm like, oh, we're just selling really cute jewelry. No,
Mm-mm. No, they have an
they sent me
intention
a list.
behind it.
Yeah, they sent me a list of their products, and I was like, um, this don't this don't seem right. Like, and they're in LA, or they're in California, so like, everyone does that over there, I guess, whatever.
Hmm.
And so, like, it was during Halloween, and they wanted to do like a, happy Halloween or whatever, right? And I guess I offended them. But when I went to do research, okay, this is me knowing that this is the industry that they're in. Like, they're into divination or whatever. I start looking up like the meanings of Halloween and like the original rituals of Halloween and like how crystals, all that kind of stuff, like gets into Halloween and all of that. And they were kind of offended because I said something about Satan in their posts.
What you say?
I don't remember. But then they came back and was just like, we don't worship Satan. And I was like, okay.
Wait. how
Don't
how
give
did you
a
spin
Christian
it?
witches. That's not smart. Like,
But you were doing their marketing for them. So how
yeah.
did you spin Satan in there for the
So
marketing?
it was just history. It was like, fun fact.
Oh, so you were
This
just
is
like
how you
putting the
would
facts
use
like,
this item on Halloween.
oh, and you put that it was for Satan. And
Cause
they didn't
it
like that.
was,
But they didn't like that because they don't want people to know that it's for Satan.
basically.
They want to
I
trick
was
people,
like,
or they really because I feel
I'm
like
not sure if they believed that they didn't
because
worship
this is the thing,
Satan.
people really just be confused. I think because people a
Yeah, but like
lot like
they had been like practicing Wiccan for a while. So it's like,
yeah.
how do you not know?
But don't you? I was about to say, I thought there was the okay. You know, I be watching Real Housewives of everything, but there used to be a lady on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was a Wicca person, and she always was talking about it. I thought she said they worship the trees, but as we know, if you worship any false god, then that's
Right.
really a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not that you're worshiping Satan, but it's satanic because it is like anti-God.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, because I feel like the new age stuff has always been pretty prominent, of course, but it's like or maybe as we get older, everybody's just kind of like finding they're going on their little
Mhm.
paths, and it's a lot of new age going on right now. But I think if you were to accuse, like, I have a person I know. I'm not even going to say she's my friend because we don't be talking like that no more because she is a self-proclaimed witch. But if I told her that she was worshiping Satan, she would be very offended.
Yeah.
She would
But
be
it's
like, "Oh
like,
my god,
but
like
I
how dare
honestly,
you?"
I thought I was doing what I needed, what I was supposed to do, because you asked me to do a post about this one product as it pertains to Halloween. So I was like, bet I'm gonna tell
So
people
what
how
did
to
they
use
want you
this
to
on
put?
Halloween.
So what
I
did they
don't
want you
remember.
to put then?
I don't know. It
They
was
should have just told you what they wanted to put because that's what I
that
don't like.
eventually is what they started doing, and then I got taken off the account because they didn't really want me on the account anyway, and I didn't want to be on the account, so they switched to somebody
They
else.
yeah, they needed
But
another fellow witch or
listen,
a
because that it was not
spiritist.
about to be me.
Oh my
But the thing
gosh.
was like, it was a very historical. It was literally like the origins of Halloween, and like the whole point. Like, I think they were runes, like the little like orange stones that have the symbols on them.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
I think that was the product, but they're called runes, and like I don't remember what they're for because it went in one ear and out the other when I was reading. So like,
Yeah,
because it had nothing to do with me. But
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
it was definitely like casting some stuff and all of that. So
Hmm.
I just brought that to the light because,
No, they don't
and
want you to know.
they were just like, couldn't it just have been, like it's spooky season, happy Halloween? I was like, no.
You could have kept it
I'm like,
simple.
if you gonna be bold, be bold. Like
Oh my
if you gonna be
gosh.
worshiping something, you should be bold about it. Like,
But this what they'll say too, which is interesting. They'll say that they're not worshiping it. They won't like, in
right,
my experience, I have not, they don't like the term worship at all. They don't use the term worship because they feel like we don't worship anything. This is just used to center me, and it's getting my throat chakra and my head chakra in place. Like they
I
don't.
legit almost fell into that once, and not even
It's easy.
like
This is the thing. It's easy to fall into. Like all
because it
these things.
sounds so good.
This is the thing. Stuff sound like it can make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sounds like it can make sense if you won't have no stability and your root chakra is off. Like, okay, yeah. Like, but it's like just because something makes sense or it has a little bit of truth in it, it's not something you should put your faith in. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be putting my faith in crystals. That don't make no
Right.
sense. Now,
Exactly.
the crystals are here. They are God's creation. So did God create the crystals for a certain reason? Probably so. But either to just look pretty or for some type of use. But I don't think he meant them to be used in a
Like
practice.
separate from him.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
like, and I think if he wanted us to use them to worship him or something, it would be somewhere in some kind of text. But I mean, I don't know, but I just don't think he meant for you to be like lining them up in your house on an altar and wearing them around your neck. Like, because jewels are jewels. Like, I mean, everything's a crystal, a diamond,
Right.
people wear diamonds. But when you start being like, oh, this diamond is keeping the evil spirits away, now you on another, like, no, that's not what no, God is keeping what? Like, it's just not
Yeah.
giving, when you're in those type of practices, like new age stuff, it teaches you like that you are God. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it is. It's like Satan's ultimate agenda. He thinks that
Yeah.
he's God, so he's trying to make all you think that you're God when
Yeah.
you can't create nothing. You can
At
barely
all.
create spaghetti. Like, please get a grip.
It took you till you were 45 to learn how to boil water, and you trying to make yourself a
Yeah.
god. Come on now.
So, like, because I used to be, what the only thing I really used to be into was astrology, which it's
I was
another
kind of
thing.
too.
Which is another thing that you'd be like, dang, it be on point, but mm-mm, mm-mm. It's something about, this is the thing about me. I don't have to learn too many lessons too many times. If I
Right.
learn, if I learn a lesson for myself, I learn the lesson. It doesn't like, if I learn a hard lesson, I'm good on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am good at learning lessons through other people. If you go on YouTube or Instagram and you start looking up the testimonies of people who used to be witches, I mean, I've listened to a billion of them.
Me too.
People who used to be psychics, people who used to be in any of these new age occult practices.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to touch any of that stuff after you listen to these people,
Mm-mm.
their lives were like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the things that they were happening to them, the it's just, I don't, I'm good on that. Like, some stuff might have been happening to me. I never like did any spells on it, but I was really into, the identity of like, oh, I'm an Aries and I do this because I'm an Aries, and
Yeah.
all that dumb stuff. But
Yeah.
people
I
are
used
really
to do that a lot
astrologers
with.
out here though. Like, people really
Yeah.
like tell people who they are, what they're gonna be based on all this all this stuff.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I definitely used to do the whole, I'm a Virgo thing, and now it's just like I don't care. Um.
Yeah, my identity is in Christ. That's how I
Yeah.
feel. Because I really used to like wear that on like my sleeve. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say something really quick though. I don't mean to cut
Yeah.
you off. How sometimes how it can suck you in. Okay,
Yes.
so the girl I used to hang out with, She again self-proclaimed, which you really don't know what she is, but she started being an astrologer too. She's very into astrology. She had this book once. In the book, man, that book is dangerous because the way I almost got like the let me tell you what it said. So it had like a description of you based on the exact day you were born. Like I was born April 17th,
Mm.
1990. It has okay, a female born on
Oh,
this
it was like
day.
a birth chart.
Something, but let me tell you what it said when she read it to me. She read it to me in my house. She read me like my personality. Everything seemed, like of course, yeah, that's me, right? She said the book said this is a book that is published. I forgot what it's called. It said that she will go out and preach the gospel. This is in an astrology book. I'm not kidding you. I looked at her. I said, it says the gospel. She said, yeah. I was so tempted to ask her to keep reading more, but I said nope. I said something in me was just like, you got to stop it right there because I was intrigued. How could I not be intrigued when it
See,
described who I thought I was or who I think I am to a T? A book. That's scary.
listen.
And think about if you are not rooted in Christ, you'll go down that rabbit hole quick. You'll be like, "Ooh,
Oh
astrology.
yeah.
Yes, this is it. This is everything." But I will tell you what took me out of that. I think it was actually I read the verse again today about how you are not to worship the stars. I think it was in Deuteronomy like 5 or 6 or one of those, maybe 7. I don't know. I could probably find it. But
I think so.
when I read that, I was like, oh my God, it hit me. It might not hit everybody else the same way, but it hit me. But yeah, that was my little quick tangent. Sorry, I just had to get that out. Oof.
No, you're good because that kind of leads me into like what I was gonna say. So that was kind of me with numerology, and I didn't
Mm,
realize that I was googling the wrong thing. So, like, I knew that Hebrew letters have numbers attached to them. So I was originally looking up the Hebrew number for a certain letter because, like,
mm-hmm.
grace, the number is 5. You have like, like the certain letter or whatever, that type deal. Um, but like I guess I looked up the wrong thing and ended up getting like I was looking up 22, but I was trying to see what 22 was in Hebrew, and I ended up on some kind of numerology something, and I was like, this don't this uh, is this and so like that just led me down a whole rabbit hole. I remember looking up like just different numbers that keep showing up in my life or whatever, and I was like, this don't seem like the angels that they're talking about. I don't think that's how God's angels work.
Mm-hmm.
And like how like the numbers themselves were the angels, like this is your angel number, blah blah blah. And I was like, I don't think that's right. But it had all the same words. And
Mm.
so I had no idea. And then like there was a point where I was like, wait, let me type in like Hebrew specifically, or like Bible numerology,
Yeah.
biblical numerology, to see if I get a different answer. And it was extremely different. And like
Wow.
they didn't talk about like biblical numerology doesn't sound like secular numerology. Like it doesn't sound the same at all. And because the power isn't in the number,
Right. Right.
it's more of like a confirmation, like a confirmative thing. So um like you can I want to use like grace being the number 5, but I can't think of like a story in the Bible right now that it where knowing that is like really important.
Mm-hmm.
Um but like obviously we know the number 3, right? So
Yeah. Or
it's like,
7.
yeah, 3 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then we all know the number 6, and then like the 3 6s. Like we
Mm-hmm.
know these numbers, right? And these aren't just random numbers. Like these are numbers mentioned in the Bible. So obviously there is a sense of numerology within Christianity, and there's just no other name to like name it other than numerology, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. But I
because
can
it's
see how
not
you
the
would get into
same, and I
that
want to
too.
make that very clear. It is not the same.
Yeah. Because I think it's like, this is when stuff starts being witchcrafty. When you're taking the thing and propping it up above God.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, you can't be getting so into numbers and the meaning of these numbers and what they mean for you and how they're going to make your life better, and now you not even reading your Bible. And the really God is, the whole premise is like, it's not about you, it's not about making your life better. It's
No.
about loving God
Mhm.
and loving everyone around you, like to the best of your ability. It's not about this, like, I don't know how to put it into words, but a lot of all these other things are like, is they're mostly self-centered.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what it is. And that is not who you were called to be. Self-centered. Which is
Nope.
hard for me. I used to be a very self-centered person.
Me too.
I think most people probably are, because how you are with yourself all day.
Yeah.
And you know what yourself wants.
Exactly. So
So
I'm
that's
gonna
why it's
get with
hard
my
to love
thoughts.
everybody, the way they should be loved. It's not like the easiest thing in the world. It's, I can see where someone would find comfort in astrology or numerology, especially if you're getting confirmations of stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's
Yeah.
why I act like this. Or, I'm wondering why I have an anger problem. Oh, it's because I'm an Aries and Aries are fiery. That's why they pop off. It's like,
I'm like,
I wanted to
no,
say,
that
I
that
even
might be a
saw,
character flaw, sis, that you might
yeah, it
wanna
could just be a character flaw. And then it's like, at this point, also, you have so many different signs like within yourself that anybody can be anything. Like all these
Right.
little, like they have like a sun sign, a moon sign, a this sign and that sign. You have like 10 different signs according to like your little birth chart. So that's like, that's a lot. And then I saw this TikTok once that something about like those signs are actually like curses, but I don't know how true that is, but that's scary. I just don't like to play with stuff. Like,
Me
if
either.
it's gonna be bad in my spiritual life, if it's not gonna enhance, like, I don't need that. Like,
Mm-mm.
I'm completely, I don't need it. Yeah, and that's just how I feel about Halloween too. I just don't need
Yeah.
it,
Yep. Me
because
too.
like, even when I dressed up one time, in my adult life, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get into Halloween. We all dressed like we went as a group, and we dressed like we were going for the purge, like, the movie The Purge, where you like go out and kill people.
Mhm.
So we had masks on, we dressed like sexy like purge girls, and we dressed like however, whatever, with heels, and but we had like we had spray painted like guns and knives, and like we were going out to purge people. And now that I look back on it, even at the time, I was just like, I don't know, it wasn't that fun to me. It wasn't like the best time of my life. It was just like I was just there trying it out, seeing how I liked it. But really, I don't think I ever dressed up after that again. And that was probably back in 2016 or 17. And I didn't even really get like saved until like 2020. And I I just like stopped, because I'm just like, I don't know. It just wasn't doing anything for me.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
It is.
Those
I've been a cat
costumes,
every year for as long as I can remember.
those costumes are expensive, man. That's why I'd be putting them back. Oh, you know what? I think one year I did like a simple costume. I was a bee, because those little wings at Party City are cheap. They're like $3, and I had a little black unitard or something. Put the wings on, put the little mask on, and you're a bumblebee. Now you're a bumblebee. But that's all I can. I can't afford Halloween.
Bro.
That's another thing. I can't be, like that Elmo costume I got on Mario was like $40 or something.
Oh yeah,
And he wore
costumes
it
are
once.
ridiculous.
Like, can I
Yeah.
sell it? Goodness gracious.
Yeah. I tried to be penny proud one year. That didn't work out cuz no one else wanted to go like with me, and like the
Yeah.
party that I was going to, they highly discouraged women or girls wearing skirts.
Oh.
Um cuz it's
Wait,
called
this was
Freaks Come Out. Like that was literally that was the party name, called Freaks Come Out. But
but wait, the people you couldn't wear a skirt. It was it through a church?
no,
It was
no,
just
this
people
was
who
a
don't like.
college party. But the other girls, like pretty much anyone going to the party, it was like a unspoken rule that like you shouldn't wear a skirt.
Oh wow. So you didn't go as Penny Proud. You went as
A
nothing.
cat.
A cat.
I was
Okay.
a cat.
That's an easy one
Um,
too. Put
yep.
those ears on, and you're a cat
Listen,
now.
I had some ears, and
And a tail.
I had makeup, and then I wore black shirt, black pants, and a brown leather jacket.
Hey, you're a cat.
I'm a cat, and I was a cat the next year too, because I
Oh my
found the
god.
ears, but
Yeah.
I ain't had time. It was either that or wear my Olaf onesie, and I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. I wonder where the origin comes from because we read that it comes from basically like the dead souls or whatever.
Hmm.
But where does the costume part come from?
Yeah, that I have
That's
no
interesting.
idea.
Like where did it start where now we wear costumes? I could see. I mean, I don't know. That's interesting. Why are we dressed up now?
It
Like
is. I'm gonna put
why
you
am
as
I
a.
dressing up as a cat?
I'm
Why
gonna
can't
put
I just
that
come over and eat candy and drink
right,
juice or whatever? Or eat
right.
some, eat some whatever you got cooked. Why I
Yeah,
gotta do all this? Why I gotta dress up now? And what's the candy part? Why am I going
exactly.
door to door for candy?
Right.
Let me
And why is it
Google.
called trick or treat?
Cause then they used to like play a trick on the person if they because I thought it was a question like, do you want a trick or do you want a treat or you want to give me a treat? Right? I always thought
Maybe.
that was.
I have never
I don't know.
done a deep dive into Halloween
I've never even
enough.
gone trick or treating. I've never
I
done
haven't
that.
either.
My
I
because
haven't either.
and you know what else my mom used to do? Uh, say we would get candy at school, right? Because you just can't avoid the kids getting the candy at school. She would check it for like stuff because
Hmm.
apparently, because
It
because
was razors.
yeah, because
Yeah.
people are crazy. And if people can put razors in candy, then they can curse candy. I don't know what would happen if you curse candy, but people can curse things and put spells on things. I even saw, I don't know if it was on TikTok or Instagram or where I saw this, but it was a girl, and I think it might have been on TikTok. She said that she had had a dream. I want to say it was a dream. She could have said
Hmm.
vision, but you know, same difference. And that God had told her that there was a witch in their church, like going to church with them. Like this girl that you think is cool, she's actually a witch. And she was like, she cursed some of the it wasn't candy, it was like bags they were giving out to like charity or something. And it was like snack bags. That's what it was, snack bags for like some event. It wasn't for Halloween. And um God told her like she cursed a certain amount of these bags, and there's like a mark on these bags. It was some kind of like demonic mark or something. And she woke up, and I want to say did she go to her pastor first? She might have went to her pastor first and was like, "Hey, I'm just telling you about this dream. What you think? Like, you think it's weird or what?" Girl, why when they went to the snack bags, there was some with the mark on it. But it's like, what's your point? Why are you cursing the bags? What's your purpose?
Because when it gives to that person, those people, whatever, like they
The,
have it in their
the
homes now.
oh my god. I guess that's about the getting the territory thing. Oh my goodness. You know what I should do? I should find John Ramirez's. I wonder how it'll sound though on the audio. We haven't tested that yet. Because I can play video, like
I was
on our
gonna try to
video.
share my screen, but
Yeah, we can do that. I just don't know if we'll be able to hear it on the audio or not because we haven't done it yet.
oh
I just don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know either.
It
But
might.
we'll link
Yeah,
it
we
in
can
like
just
the
link it.
show
I'm about to say
notes,
one
and
day we should try it though.
we should.
But I
Um,
think I feel like it'll be only something for the YouTube audience, not the
yeah, to be able to see, yeah. So
yeah,
go and watch it
yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah.
But
But yeah, but isn't that crazy? Like,
yeah, I just didn't. It would. It's just been so like easy to look over all of that stuff, but it's like just like I believe in God, I do have to like I have to know that there are other forces too, and like you
oh
really
yeah,
can't play with them. Like
hmm
it's not the cool movie or like this isn't The Shining where in the end there's some kind of like resolve. Like this is your
hmm
life. Like
yeah,
there will be no rolling credits, and
yeah, yeah,
it's like fear. There's no perfect love casts out all fear. There's no fear in God.
hmm
We fear in reverence of God, but we are not afraid when
yeah,
we are in God. And so like when you're asking yourself as a Christian, should I celebrate a holiday that has been predicated on fear? Like that should be your biggest red flag to say, you
yeah.
know what? Like
That's how it
I
is
have
for
other
me.
holidays. Like I don't have to like FOMO is not going to get me into heaven. Like I don't have time to be celebrating a holiday just because everyone else is.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Exactly. And that's what I was saying about the kids earlier. It's like for my son, you know, God, like I'm just gonna be like straight up. Like I think I would start with questions. Like, okay, Amari, why do you want to dress up? What's the
Mhm.
reason? If he say well everybody else is doing it, then we gotta talk about how you can't do everything everybody else do all the time.
Yeah.
Why
So you're a
like
leader. You're not a follower.
yeah, like that's just not how you even need to live your life. Let's talk about some life lessons right there. Not even about
Yeah.
Halloween. Let's talk about how just in general, like I don't want you just doing everything just because
Mhm.
everybody else is doing it. I want you to do it because you want to do it. Now, do you want to do it or you not want to do it? Now, if you want to do it, let's talk about what let's
Yeah.
just work through it. I'm not just gonna like be like, oh no, we don't celebrate this and we don't talk about it because that's
Right.
not the type of parent I want to be. But like, I'm not just gonna like let him do something because he's upset that he's left out from his friends.
Right.
You gonna be all right, bro. Like that's not you. These not even gonna be your friends in 2 years. Trust me. Um, I googled where the costume part came about. This says the ancient Celtic festival when people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. So they originally were for like protection, but I wonder what their costumes look like because they weren't dressing
Right.
up as like
They weren't
lions
dressing up
and
as
bears.
ghosts.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why do now people want to look like? Okay, over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick or treating, but why though? This is on history.com, I think.
Mm.
I should have had this before we started.
But if listeners, if you guys know anything about it, leave it in the comments. If you're on YouTube, and if you're not on YouTube watching this and you're just listening to this, hit us up on
Yeah,
our
you
like
can
in
leave a
our
review too. I know you can leave a review on Apple Podcasts, so that could be a way
yeah
of like leaving a comment.
yeah.
But that's probably the only thing I want to know now is like, okay, why do you dress up in costumes though? And like how
How
oh
did candy get involved?
even history.com has brought up Christianity. What? Mm-mm. Something. Okay. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't
It
know if this
doesn't
is my
feel
fault.
right. It just
Yeah, it's
doesn't
like
feel right.
I think it's for me, and this is the thing. The things that you are convicted of, you need to follow those things.
Hmm.
Not everybody's convicted of the same things.
Right.
I mean, there's certain things that are like absolutes, but certain little things like this is like. I
Like
don't think you
this is not a gospel issue. This is not a
yeah, I don't think that
salvation
you're gonna
issue.
I don't think you're gonna go to hell if you celebrate Halloween with your kids.
Right.
I don't think so. I don't if you truly believe in Jesus Christ
Yeah.
and yo, I don't think that God's like, "Oh, remember that time you celebrated Halloween? You're out." Like, now he may ask you about it, I think, on the day of judgment. He may be like, "You think that was smart or not?" Well, go ahead and go, but I'm just letting you know that wasn't the move. But, I just think for me, as for me in my house, it's just not for me. But if you ever have a costume party any other time of the year, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
down. I'm
Yeah.
I'm down for that, but not during Halloween. I'm really ready for October to be over
Yes.
because
Thanksgiving.
I have to
Here we
watch what
come.
my son is watching on TV because it's just Halloween everywhere, and you know, I don't want him to get scared of anything or anything like that.
But yeah, leave what you think in the comments. If you're
Hmm.
watching this on YouTube, our YouTube gang, our YouTube fan. And
Yes.
if you are listening to this, send us a message on our social media, on our Instagrams, in our DMs, slide in our DMs and be like, girl, you tripping. That's fine. You can tell me I'm tripping. I don't
Yeah.
care.
I mean, I don't think we
Um,
said anything too radical. I think we
yeah,
just
no, I'm not
gave
telling you
our
to go to a
truth.
hell house. So I definitely
Yeah.
am not tripping. But
Oh my gosh. I'm still kind of traumatized by the news of the hell houses, and
me
it's a
too.
real thing. I Google it. There's pictures.
It's a real thing.
Oh my god.
So yeah, don't go to hell houses and be
Or
safe
haunted
this
houses.
Halloween. If you do choose to go out, I pray that the Lord keeps you safe. I plead the blood of Jesus over you and your children and the candy that they will be consuming.
Yes, and check
Um,
the candy, parents.
check
I
the
don't know if that's
candy.
still a thing or if that was like a 90s thing, but I would be checking it.
Yeah, check the candy. Eat some of the candy. Go buy
I
some candy from
usually eat
Walmart.
it. I don't
I
I
go the
don't use
day
my
after Halloween to get discount candy. That's when I celebrate it. If I
yeah.
celebrate it at all, is to get
Honestly,
discount
I
candy.
get enough candy. Imma end with this. I asked a friend I was gonna say this earlier. I asked a girl today, I said, "Well, why do you like Halloween? What's" she said it's her favorite holiday. I said, "Well, why?" She said, "Because that's when my family always got together." So it wasn't about for her, it wasn't about fear. It wasn't about and I said, "Well, for me, it's Christmas and Easter." And because she was like, "Well, what about candy?" I said, "Oh, my mom gives us a lot of candy at Easter and Christmas. Like, I don't even need candy at Halloween." And I said, "But you know what? That's interesting because for me and my family, I love Easter and Christmas because that's when my family gets together. That's when it's the happiest time for me. We didn't celebrate Halloween, so I don't really care about Halloween. But for her, her family is happy on Halloween. Like they get together, her and her cousins get together and have fun. And during Christmas and Easter, her family fights. So it wasn't about like she likes being scared or that she does anything demonic or anything. It's just like for her, it's like a nostalgic thing, and her and her cousins get to see each other, and that's why she likes it.
Wow.
I
Well,
know,
that is a
right?
different perspective.
I know. So I would like for people. I wish I could ask everybody, why do you like Halloween? Maybe
Yeah.
you can leave us that comment. Why do you like Halloween? And yeah, that's it. Why is it your favorite, or why is it not your favorite? Let
Yeah.
us know.
Let us know in
But
the
yeah,
comments or in the DMs.
yes,
And we love y'all.
yes, I really do.
Click all the buttons, do all the things,
Yes.
and we will see and talk to y'all in the next episode.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.